Mm. Hey all, I was taking a quick sip of my coffee as this broadcast was popping on. How you guys doing? So I'm here for another snapshot series with you all. And first of all, thank you so much for all the comments and all the questions and just the community that we have here on YouTube. I really appreciate it. And I try to answer every comment. At least I put a little heart. So if I put a heart, you know, I've seen it and maybe I just can't answer it in that moment. So what I thought, I know a number of you are just fascinated with my scripting, with what I call intuitive scripting. I've been doing this for ages. I tell you, at least 30 something years. This text, this in sort of soul language, intuitive language came to me as a part of my daily practice as an artist, the whole thing. You guys, you know, I don't want to spend a lot of time on that. But a lot of you ask me the origins of it, etc. It's something that just came up. I was studying Sumi brush painting, more, you know, and just it self-taught mostly. I took a few classes at the Sackler years ago in DC. You know, just sort of the kind of classes you take at the museums, and but it just kind of popped up, and when it spoke to me, it just was just perfect. And I just have used it ever since. And once I started Gelli printing, I'm gonna start working. I'm gonna put a thin layer of this gold down. The gold I like to use at DIY shop. This very cheap. It's a very thin. Doesn't have a lot of pigment to it. It's one of your cheap craft paints you can get at Michael's, but it's perfect for what I call glazing. When we glaze, we don't want a lot of pigment or anything. We just need some color down and a thin coat of acrylic on the plate. So I'm gonna glaze the plate and I'm gonna set it to the side and let it dry while we talk. So we're doing step one. So a lot of you have been fascinated with this language. Many of you who follow me are part of my studio school and are in Art Mythos, where I do a lot of that in my morning coffee times and my different studio things. You guys have begun to create your own language because it is a language that comes up out of your soul, out of your own creative space, right? So each person's is going to look different. There's no right or wrong to it. It's just, you know, energetically when it's right. You know when you connect to it. And when you start using it, you'll know that it's flowing out of you. So it's one of those kind of things. And so I just am happy that, you know, so many of you connect to it and are interested in doing it. And no, it's not that asemic scripting or something. It got called that in the early 2000s by some guys who started it, and it means it's scripting that looks like a language but doesn't mean anything. Mine is not that. It doesn't fall in that category. I've been doing it 20 years before it was even coined that, and it does mean something. And those of you who do and connect with it know it means something because you can feel the energy of it. So while that is drying, I'm going to put a little bit of this down as well because we're going to do two different types. So this video is designed to show you guys two different ways to kind of work on your Gelli plate, because I know I've sort of done it before, but I haven't kind of done it formalized to sort of show you. So I'm going to put another layer of this down, the glazing. And what we're going to do is, and I'm going to do a couple things. So I'm using this calligraphy paper. I have the links below the video. You guys have already started getting this. It's on, you can get it on Amazon. You know, it's not much. It's maybe $4 or $5 for 100 sheets. So that's pretty good. So one of the ways I like to do it is just put color down, come right with my Sumi brush, just right on it. And I'm doing a thin layer because I don't want my brush to get, you know, gooed up. So we just do a quick layer. We don't let it dry. We put it down so that, let me just use something here so I can press on it. We put it down wet. because then that way we kind of get the ink blot kind of thing with it. So I'm just showing you several different techniques, and you're able to kind of go from there. So of course, I'll let it stay down a little too long, but let me show you, let's show the mistakes too, right? Because I'll still use this because it's still a good print. I let it stay down there too long talking, but it's okay. So let's show you the print. The kind of what not to do. Don't leave it down too long and talk. But at the same time, this is a cool print, and I'm going to show you how we're going to use it. How I'm going to come right back and use this immediately. So I'm going to put it over here on my copier, and I'm going to copy this image. I wanted to show you this anyway. So you'll see. I don't believe there's any mistake. So I'm over here on my copier right now, and I'm going to copy this in, what's going on here? Copy. I'm gonna do it in black and white because I want to show you guys something. So we're gonna put this to the side. You'll see with me, there's no mistakes. I don't believe in mistakes. I believe in whatever happens, I just go with it. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. So, but I'm gonna show you how we're gonna save that. So I have it over on my copy, and I'm just making black and white copies. In the meantime, this is nice and dry. So I'm gonna go ahead and do some scripting here. And this way you guys can see my scripting. And basically what it is that, you know, I just have a relationship to my brush and to the movement of my hand. And it really is coming, the script is coming from a place just, you know, instinctively. Some of my shapes repeat. Other times it's not, like I'm in a really happy mood right now. And so my brush is flowing with my feeling right now. So that's why it's very happy. You see my movements are really large, and, you know, I'm just in a good place. I just got off of a meeting with one of my teachers and with earth energies and all that good stuff. And it was a really, really good online class, and I'm happy. I'm in a happy place. And so my language is reflective of that. So I'm gonna put this to the side and let it dry. And okay, so here we are. I'm gonna show you how I took this piece, and now I will definitely use this piece in collage. You know, I do my junk journaling over on Patreon. You guys, some of you are over there with me. And so this, even though it's like I'm gonna still use this in my junk journaling because it's great. But in the meantime, you see where I made photocopies of it. Okay, so I made a photocopy of it, and this is great. I have the crafting. I mean, I have the intuitive scripting captured here, and I'm sorry. So I made 2 copies of it. I have the background noise that came from that print. So now let's watch what we're gonna do. Let's come back here. So one of the things I do right off would be glazing. So we can just do really a nice quinacridone ozo gold right over a photocopied print like that one there. And it's gonna pick up more stuff off of my plate. So I'm just gonna roll this out. And okay, let's put one of these down. And this is just on copy paper, or you can use the cotton, 25 or 100% cotton paper that we talk about, that I have, the Southworth, if you want to do this on a better piece of paper because you're going to be using it in your art or something like that. Now look how gorgeous this is. So this is what I call glazing. So you can take an image, you can photocopy it, even a messed up one like we had. I'm glad it messed up because that's a great way to show you how you can save something. And then look at it, just using a quinacridone ozo gold. There is some gold that came up, the first layer that we had down there. And then some of the stuff on my plate is starting to pop up. but look how good that looks. So we're jelly printing over top of a photocopied image, and that really comes out good. So I want to show you that. Also, I want to show you this. We're going to do some of this on just how we can take, let's do it on this one. So I have this other photocopied one over here. Let's do it on here. I'm going to roll out the quinacridone ozone gold again. And then this stencil that I like to use, I just cut circles in this stencil into one of these page protectors, sheet protectors. And basically what I do is I just fold it in half and cut semicircles, different sizes to get this. So we're going to put that down, and we're going to take, I'm going to take my brush, and I just take these holes and I just fill them up with ink, the Sumi ink. Just kind of want to do it quickly because we have and I'm kind of putting in there so it's sloppy like, because it is going to spread. So now let's use this paper again. Let's see what it does. So let's spread this in here. So that really is going to pick up that pattern, and it should pull a little bit of the color from underneath. We put down. Okay, so we have that dot pattern that we did over top of a print, and we picked up a little bit of the gold. When it dries, we'll see more of it. Well, let's pick this up, and let's take our calligraphy paper. Let's put it down real quick, and we'll pull some more of this up. So we just have some more of the mark making. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put some more of the quinacridone ozone gold down, spread it out. And we're going to pick this pattern up again. And this is what I do for a lot of my mark making, especially when I want my prints to have a lot of diversity to them and I want a lot of information on them. I'm going to just keep on over printing and just keep on picking up all this extra material. So see that? So now we have a lot going on, and we only had 2 pulls. The one that was the ghost of the circles, and then putting that back down. But this print looks so much more rich than just 2 pulls, because some of the extra material that's on the plate is starting to pull up, like that green there. You see that? Okay, so now what I want to do is let's use a different combination. So if we don't have the quinacridone ozone gold, we can use this flash orange with the teal. These are 2 of my favorite colors. So I put some of the teal down. I mix it right on the plate, because we're going to glaze over this other print. It's just, these are the folk art paints. I have the link below the video, and the teal. Well, this is turquoise. So this is aqua flash, and this is orange flash. And these mixed together make a really nice, kind of olivey, real earthy green that I love. So now let's go ahead and pick some more of this up onto this print. The one that's our Xerox, or is our photocopy. Then this is the one that I did the organized blots using that stencil that I made. You know, we're all into making our stuff. And then putting it down and glazing and picking up what we can. Oh, I love this color. It's the best. Look at this. So here again, we did another glazing over top of the Sumi ink. So there's so much you can do with this method of glazing over top of either the Sumi ink or the combination of a photocopied page and the Sumi on top of it. So I wanted to show you guys a few different ways of how we can do that. So we have, and these are both photocopied pages, but look how nice they are. They're ready to go. And you can use some of your Gelli prints to accomplish that really nicely. So I'll put those in here right now. And those are from the messed up one, if you recall. So now this is dry. So we're going to pick this up. Let me see. What do I want to pick it up on? I think I'm going to use some of my paper here. This is some paper I get when I go to Europe. So I like to use different papers. So those of you who are following me that are in Europe, or, you know, you can't always get papers from here. So when I travel, I look for different things. So this is the Verge de France. This is the Gelli paper line, and it's all over. I mean, it's all over France. I find it in London. You can find it different places. And this is a good bond weight paper. It's beautiful paper. It's 25% cotton. So of course I have the Southworth below this video for those of us who are in the United States. But if you're in Europe, just go for any good weight paper that's like your letterhead paper or bond or stationery paper. So let's use this because this really picks up nicely too. This is a good paper. So now what we're going to do here is I'm going to pick up a little bit of, let me just get something absorbent. I'll use this again because it's just a few places that still are not quite dry. And I don't want those to smear when I go to get ready to put it over. Okay, that's good. Okay, so now we have the that layer of golds down, right, with the DIY. Then I came back and did my scripting with the Sumi ink once this was dry. Okay, and this is one of those techniques that I discovered just playing in my studio. So I wanted to show you guys really good because a lot of you ask me about this. I do this a lot. Like, I mean, I'm always doing this in my work, you know, so I wanted to be able to show you guys really well this process. So I find also YouTube is the beast, you know, that it is, that other people who make content will see this and they're like, oh, I'll do it. And that's okay. You know, I'm not into worrying about that. But since it is a technique that I came up using my intuitive scripting in this way of doing it, I really wanted to show you guys how I do it and what works best. So now that we have this down, we're going to put a layer over this. I'm going to use a quinacridone Ozo Gold because I've been doing papers in that color. Let's keep it in this color family so that we can, you know what? We'll do half and half. Let's do half and half. So we'll do half of the quinacridone Ozo Gold and put that down here. And then half, we're going to do the color shift paint in this aqua orange combination. That way, if you can't, you know, because that quinacridone Ozo Gold, you know, even with a Michael's or, you know, Joann's discount, you're looking at about $8 or9 for the small one, which is fine. So if you have a coupon, you want to go grab it, do that. But also these are like, I think, $2.99 each. So, you know, you can go grab those either way or both, but just giving you options. And this will make this print looks very interesting as well. So now we're going to take it, put our paper down. So I'm doing a little bit more than a glazing. So I put a little bit more paint down than a glazing, but you can see it wasn't so much that I had a lot of paint laying on the plate. And this is something I just want you guys to play with here, just to play with it, to find out the exact amount that you want to put down. Not too much, not too little. So that'd be just right. Now this paper is good. It has cotton in it, so it's gonna handle being on this plate a little longer. Here we are. Look at that. What a beauty. So that's how you pull all the scripting off of our plate. Isn't that great? And see the color combination? So you can see both paints, all the paints work well. This is the cheap paint works well and the expensive goldens work well. And I'd like to show you guys both ways because I know we're all at different price points when it comes to just playing and crafting in our studio. And I know myself, I have to think twice about going out and spending $30 on this bottle because I'm not, you know, no one's giving me paints. None of these companies give me paints as much as I sell. I sell, you know, thousands of dollars worth of stuff on Amazon and places like that, but I might get 20. I mean, it's ridiculous how much they actually pay. But anyhow, it doesn't matter. I don't really do it for that purpose. I do it to make it easy for you guys. But so I know I have to hesitate and wait to get a 50% off coupon or something to go purchase this stuff. So I like to show it a lot of different ways, low end and high end. But you can see the print is just as gorgeous. It's just as beautiful. It pulled just as well. It pulled completely off the plate. Only a little bit left behind. So there we have it. So I wanted to show you guys those several techniques. Let's go back and review them. So this is the one where we put a thin layer of glazing on the plate, let it dry completely. Then we come back and we do the Sumi ink, and all these products are linked below the video. I noticed a lot of you have already started getting them from my other videos. So you're using this Sumi ink. You're going to paint it. Just get yourself a nice Sumi paintbrush. This is a real special one I had made by a guy that makes them up in Washington State. I've had that one for ages, but you can get these, the bamboo ones from like the art store. So you use that, and we make the mark making, and then you let that dry completely. Go do something else, Then when it's dry, you can come back and we're doing a glaze layer of whatever color you want. It's got to be you want it to be a fluid translucent color. You don't want it to be all too opaque because it'll cover up all of the ink. So you want sort of a fluid transparent color, and then you lay that down, and then you use a nice weight paper, some type of bond or some 25% or a drawing paper, something that when you put it down, you're gonna be able to really do like I did, and pull it so that you get all of the information, and it pulls off the plate beautifully, just like you wrote it by hand. So you can actually draw flowers, images. You can draw anything on the plate. I use it a lot, obviously, because I love my intuitive scripting, but there are times where I'll draw images and things on the plate, and I like the lotus blossom too, and I've done the lotus blossom with my scripting, and it's gorgeous. So you can draw on here as well. So just know whatever your aesthetic is. Then we took and did our very first print that stuck to the plate, kind of ripped up a bit with the glazing. If it hadn't, you could see what the print looked like, but we're still going to end up using this. So I'm okay. I'm happy with that. So, but what we did is what I was going to show you anyhow. I laid this on my copier, and I made a photocopy of it, which were these two. And this was simply a glaze. Photocopy your images. You can use this with anything. You can use it with images that you created or things that you like, that you want to blow up, and maybe take bits and pieces of things that may be out in public domain. Maybe let's say it's a flower, it's in public domain, but you blow it up and maybe it's coming across the side of the portion of their page, and then you can jelly print it. So this, I just used the glazing of the quinacridone Ozo Gold. This one was the same. I did two of them. This one I used the aqua and the teal to make this kind of coloration, and then I came back with my little circle stencil and laid it on the plate, filled the holes with the Sumi, and put that down. And that way you get a controlled, you get the ink blot look, but you get controlled circles, as you can see. So you can use any stencil to then put it down on the plate and use the ink and then print right on top of it. So you get the ink blocky, blotchy ink look. This clearly looks like ink versus paint. You see, even close up, you can see how it's soaked into the page. So it's going to give you a different quality of line, and that's what we're going after. You can see the paint of it next to it, like here in this area. You can see that looks like paint, and this is definitely flatter. So we're going for different quality of lines in our print, and that gives us variation to your print that makes it look more interesting. So here, even though this is laying on top, you can see where this is ink. It has a little bit more weight than the line underneath it, which is the photocopy. But as you keep on building these up, you have all these different layers of interest that's going on in your print. And that's what makes your jelly prints look really interesting. That makes any work, your paintings, monoprints, anything you do looks more interesting when you do variation of line, of texture, and various techniques coming together is what makes things work. Not like all the same thing the whole time. That gets boring. And then this was where I did the ghost of the, remember how after we pulled this print and got most of this, and then I lifted this off, I pulled onto white paper and got these first set of lines, and then just putting a little bit more, a thin layer of the quinacridone Ozo Gold. Then I picked up this, and I purposely do these thin layers so that it does this little blotchy kind of look to it, so it looks like an old wall texture. If it's like solid all the way across, you don't, I mean, that has its applications, right? So when I want it to be blotchy and have this old wall look, I just put like thin layers of it and, you know, put it down and kind of pull it up pretty quickly, and you get this sort of more of a pattern like that. And that's everything. Those are the ones we did. Okay, cool. So that gives you guys something to work on. You saw more of the scripting technique. I wanted to add in showing you how you can do the photocopies with it. And I wanted to give you a full on this technique so you can see how it's done. And like they say, you know where you saw it first. All righty, listen, love you guys. Thank you so much for joining me here. You guys are so awesome. I have a great community of artists over here, and I can't thank you all enough. Keep the questions coming. Any techniques I'm doing, if I'm sort of glossing over them and you're not sure what it is, please ask me. And in the snapshot series, I will cover those. If you want more in-depth with me, like 2 to 3 videos a week, you can either join me on Patreon at the $10 or come on over to the studio school. You're free to fool around in there and grab modules for $25. For 4 weeks, you're going to get like 14 plus videos, plus all kind of journal prompting, and we do a lot over there, and that's go at your own pace. So, you know, you can kind of join me in wherever you want. And here, of course, I'm doing the snapshots here on YouTube, so it's wonderful. So if you like this video, please thumb it up and follow me, and I'll be back for some more. Take care. Love you guys. Bye-bye.